when I wasn't looking and doing this video, look what my dog did to my damn tree. What the heck did you do? You tore off all the branches. That thing's never going to grow back. You took the big one off too, that one. Holy moly, Rocky, you're out of control. Alright guys, we're going to do something, a little how-to video here on the X-Terra Elite, the Minelab X-Terra Elite. I had a request for somebody, I think it was at Peter Jackson on YouTube, wanted me to go in a little bit more deeper on the iron bias settings in the X-Terra Elite. And then I also wanted just to compare it with the Equinox 900, just to show you the difference. The X-Terra is a fine machine, performs really well. It just has a little less features than the 900, and so I'm just going to kind of show you that as well. And then we'll walk out on my test garden, show you the difference in, you know, where things pick up for bottle cap rejection, things like that. But I'm going to walk through that right now. I'm going to remove one of these machines from the table because it's going to get a little noisy. So I'll remove the 900 for now. And then we'll fire up the X-Terra. So let me get that in view here, and we'll turn that on, and we'll just go over the settings for iron bias. Oops. If you're looking for one of these machines, our friends at Fort Bedford Metal Detector sells them. So if you guys are looking to get one of these, I would recommend reaching out to them. They do a really good job of taking care of you, and I can't recommend them enough for their business. So give them a shot. Let's turn on what the most favorite feature I feel is on this machine. And that's the red screen. How can you not like that red screen? Anyway, all right. So real quick, to get to the iron bias settings, you click your settings bar or settings button, your gear button here in the middle, and you want to scroll all the way to the right under the recovery speed. So we're just going to keep going until we get to recovery speed. And right now my recovery speed is at 3. If you hold down the gear button, it puts you into your iron bias. Now, your iron bias goes down to -1, but it also goes up to as high as 2. Okay? So, real quick, the difference between your iron bias here is they have a bottle cap rejection built in. So, your number is at 0 or -1. And 0 are your iron bias settings. That's I call it your doorway into letting more iron in or out the door, depending. So obviously at -1, the door is wide open. And at 0, you are trying to shut that door a little bit. It doesn't have the iron bias features that the 900 does. I'll show you that in a minute. So you're kind of limited with the iron bias setting here for this machine. I mean, it is a lower end machine. You will be limited to what you can do with it, but I'll show you in the field. But when you do the bottle cap rejection starting at 1 and 2, it really does knock out bottle caps for you. So I'll demonstrate that as well. All right, so that's how you get there. And now to get out of the iron bias setting, you just hit that gear button again. Brings you back to your recovery speed, and then you are back to normal there, and you can set your recovery speed to wherever you want. So again, to get in here, I'll just show you real quick. Hold your gear button down, get you into the iron bias setting, and you have the option of -1 and 0 for your iron bias. And then if you're going to use bottle cap rejection, you're going to want to use 1 or 2. 1 starts to knock it out, 2 pretty much knocks it out. And there you go. Now let's take a look at the 900 to show you the difference, okay? Because it's going to be a pretty big difference in the machine. It's a higher machine. You have a little bit more features, but I just want to point that out in case some of you guys are on the fence on which machine you think you might want to get. So we'll turn this off. Let me grab the 900. Put the 900 on the table. It's going to probably be a little noisy. Make sure you guys can see that. Yep. Turn it on. I really do like the 900. I don't use it as much because I have the Manticore and I really like that machine. But the 900 is a very, very nice machine. And it's going to get loud in here. So let me knock down the sensitivity a little bit so you don't hear it. Really is a nice machine. I enjoyed using it. Getting to know that machine when I first got it was what I feel like the 800 should have been all along. But it did a lot of advancements and improvements in the 900 and changed the target ID scale to 99. So that was a big difference. To get into your iron bias setting here, it's the same thing. You hit your gear button and you want to go all the way over to the right under your recovery speed. I'm trying to remember what it was. And then you're going to hold your button down again. Now in the Equinox 900, you have from -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you have a lot of space in there to do a lot of things with iron bias. And your bottle cap rejection is also built in there. So what Minelab recommends in the user manual, if you're going to do iron bias, and again, I look at the iron bias as your doorway or your door to letting iron come in the machine. So if you're at -1, it's letting in almost everything. If you knock it down to 0, they recommend for iron bias that you'd use a -1 all the way up to 4 to knock out some of that iron. Now if you're going to start bottle cap rejection, you start at 5 and it takes you all the way up to 9. So that is the difference between the X-Terra Elite and the 900. Very, very different. Like I said, the 900 is a little bit more higher end machine. Well, it is a lot higher end machine. You do have a lot more options to play around with in the iron bias and bottle cap rejection settings. So, and if you go back to the 800 days, you had FE and you had F2. FE was your iron bias and F2 was your bottle cap rejection. With the newer machines, they built that feature into the iron bias setting. So that's why you only have iron bias FE versus F2 now. So didn't know if some of you had that machine and were wondering where it went. It's no longer there. And I do have a quick tip video out there on the iron bias stuff as well for the Equinox 700, 900. So there, that's just a quick rundown. So you wanted me to go a little bit in depth on this, and there you go. And I'll take you out in my my test garden and just well, it's not really a test garden. We're doing some above ground tests just to show you the difference in the iron and the bottle cap rejection. I'll be honest with you, with the X-Terra Elite, you don't have a lot of iron bias rejection, so you're limited, and it really doesn't. I mean, it's hard to kind of tell if it's working or not in the demonstration I'm going to show you in my yard, but you only have -1 and 0 are your two options. Whereas the 900, you have a -1 all the way up to 4 to play around with for your iron bias settings. So, all right, so now let's just go check it out. I'll do a couple demonstrations above ground. I'm not a big fan of doing above ground tests. I always like to try to get stuff in the ground and test that way. But we'll just kind of run through it real quick just to show you how the bottle cap rejection does work on both machines. All right, stand by. All right, guys, I got a couple of things here on the block. I got a wooden nail. I got an iron nail there, rusty one, and I got a big piece of iron here, and I got a silver Washington quarter in the middle. I had a question about the Minelab X-Terra Elite machine, and if I could go into more detail on the ferrous limits, things like not ferrous limits, but the iron bias. Got my machines mixed up there with the Manticore. Iron bias and there's Rocky for you. Iron bias and the bottle cap rejection. And so on this machine, it's tough to say how much the iron bias actually really does work, because on the machine itself, you only have two settings. You have a -1, 0, and 1 and 2 are for the bottle cap rejection. Stop Stop it. Can't you see I'm making a video? I know. Jeez, get on with it. All right. So you only have two options. You have -1 and a 0 for iron bias, and then you have 1 and 2 for bottle caps. So if you put things at -1, go over it, the iron dominates the silver quarter. You really can't hear it. Nope, lay down. You really can't hear it. Now if you orient yourself a little differently, it starts to come in. And this is the 11-inch coil. You can start to get that quarter. The sweet spot's right under the, I think the Minelab emblem there on this coil. If I hit it just right, I can start getting that in. But if I change the iron bias up to 0, does it make any difference? Still can't really pick up that quarter. But if I come over here, if I hit it just right, I can still make out that quarter, get it to come out once in a while. So I really don't have a lot of control over this iron bias in the machine. And honestly, I don't know how much iron bias really impacts this scenario. I don't like doing above board tests because above ground tests because they just, I don't know. I'd rather have a target in the ground where I have some iron. I do have a target back here I'll try to find, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go get the Equinox 900 and show you a little bit of difference. Like, the more you pay for these machines, the obvious, you get a little bit more features and separation, things like that. Now I am, in case you're wondering, if you look at the settings, I'm maxed out on separation of 3, so I can't get any higher separation to bring that quarter out. That's the problem. So, but it will find it if I orient myself a little differently around the iron. So it will come out. But you have some limitations with the X-Terra Elite. Not to say it's bad. It's just it's not as high end as the Equinox 900, 800, or the Manicore. Let me get the 900 and show you what the difference is. There's a little bit of difference. The iron bias is still a little bit iffy to me, but I mean there's a clear distinction. So let me go get that machine. All right, now I got the 900 out here. So again, the iron bias, you have a -1, 0, 1, and I think 2 starts the bottle cap rejection. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think up to 2, I think you have. It could be a little higher than that. We'll double check it. But at a -1, if I go over this, it does hear a high conductor in there. And the sweet spot on this coil is right under the, I believe it's right under the shaft mount. Now it's going to bring down the target ID. Sometimes you'll see a 90 in there, but it will bring down the number. There's definitely a high conductor in there. Whether you would dig that or not, I don't know. That's why I don't like these above ground tests. It's just not realistic to me, but take it for what it's worth. Now if we go into our settings and we start changing that to 0, it starts coming out a little bit better. Clearly something is going on different in the 900 than the Elite. If I go to 1, it's about the same. But you can hear it in there. If we go back to the target ID, target ID is a little bit better, but there's still, it's hard to get it. You occasionally see a 95 in there, 94. Now if I go a little to the, I can get it. With all that iron in there, I get it. So if I go up any higher, let's do, oops, get out of this. Let's go to 2, does it matter? So at 2 I can hear it. pretty good actually. Let's go back to 1. 1 I can hear pretty good. 0. 0 is where it gets a little funky. But I can hear it at 1. 2. 3 is where I think the bottle cap rejection comes in. Let's go get a bottle cap and just double check. Alright, so the X-Terra, I looked at it again just to make sure I had the numbers right. So I was correct. For the iron bias, you only have options of let's hold it in. You only have options of -1 and 0. 1 and 2 are for bottle cap rejection. So let's actually test it out. So if I go 0, -1, there's a bottle cap. I can still hear it. I can hear that quarter. But I can hear the bottle cap. Let's raise it to 0. Still hear the bottle cap. Raise it to 1. Now the bottle cap starts going away. No, lay down. 2. Bottle cap's almost wiped out. So that's true for the X-Terra Elite. So those numbers are legit. All right, now let's take a look at the 900 and see what it does. I didn't look these numbers up, so I forget what they are. It's been a long time since I used the 900, which is a great machine, by the way. I just prefer the other ones I have. Not that there's anything wrong with it. So let's see. Rocky, no, lay down. Lay down. My iron bias right now is at -1. I can hear the bottle cap. 0. Still hear it. 1. Still hear it. 2. Still hear it. This is where I think starts to go at 3. Yep. So at 3 is when the bottle cap rejection kicks in. 4, 5, and 6. So you just have a few more numbers to mess with on the 900 than you do the X-Terra. The X-Terra is a little bit limited, but it's also a lower end machine. But you can still hear that quarter in there with the iron. But that's what I want to show: the iron bias and the bottle cap rejection. Just so you guys understand that ones. I had a question about the X-Terra Elite. Just wanted to go in a little bit detail on it. They recommend you do use the iron bias on the Elite with the horseshoe on, which is what I had the whole time we were doing this. So other than that, let's see, what other things do they want you to know. Let's see, use all metal mode in this configuration. Yes. But anyway, yeah, so one or 2 is used for bottle cap rejection. Just making sure I got that right. Yep. And this question came from Peter Jackson out there in YouTube world. So Peter, I hope this is a little more helpful for you, and hopefully this answers your question. Hope this helps. If it did, leave a comment, and I hope you guys are having a good day out there, and I hope you have one of these machines. They're really good machines. The X-Terra Elite's a nice machine for what it gives you capability wise. Just you're limited on some of the features and characteristics that you don't have on the 900, or obviously the Manicore. But I didn't want to even show the Manicore because it's not comparing the right apples to oranges and apples to apples here. So just want to keep it the Equinox family here. Even though the Elite is not considered Equinox, it kind of is. It has all the same settings on it, just limited numbers that you can change, mess with. All right, hopefully this is helpful. Thanks for watching. We'll see ya in another Mental Metal video. Rocky, get over here. Get your ball. Where's your ball? No, we're gonna eat some grass. Great. All right, thanks for watching.